The last video I made talked about the improvements that MiHoYo needs to make for Genshin Impact, and I opened up the floor for discussion. And I had so many amazing comments with incredible ideas of how to improve the game. So I'm going to break this video down into two parts. Part 1 is going to be about the amazing comments you guys left with recommendations, ideas that you have, and I'm excited to dive into those. Part 2 is going to be a little bit spicy. It's going to be a little bit spicy, okay? The reason being is I'm ready to fight you on this, and I'm excited to. There's a few of you out there who treat MiHoYo like an indie company, as if they're just a rising star, that they're just starting out, that they as a company are just in its grassroots. And my god, am I excited to prove you wrong. In particular, a notion that's been had here is, and I'm cool, like, listen, I'm cool with people being fanboys or fangirls for a company. That's super dope. Like, be happy, love what you love. And listen, I even love the company, and a lot of the developers who I speak to are really nice people. This is not about that. This is about the larger scale of the issue. This is a multi-billion-dollar company. I'm not saying it's 1 billion. They are now at 2 approaching $3 billion. Okay? Because of Genshin Impact. And for some reason, I don't know who brainwashed some of these people to think that this is still an indie company or that they're just starting out. This is making more money than AAA titles. So part 1 is me getting a little spicy, because listen, your girl loves to rant. I love to spill that tea, and also I love getting a little dommy mommy on you, okay? If I can put you in your place, I'm gonna take that opportunity. So part 1 is me spitting cold hard facts and correcting people in my comments who think that MiHoYo is some sort of indie development company that's just starting out, or treats it like it's acceptable for the patches to be small. Part 2, it's gonna be me going through the comments that you guys left on my previous video with suggestions and things that you would love to see happen in the game over time, such as adding new game modes, new features, and so on and so forth. But let's get straight into the spicy stuff. Did you know that in 2020, League of Legends made less money than Genshin Impact did in the past year? Yeah. Did you know that also Fortnite, in its first year of being released, made $1 billion less than Genshin Impact did on its first year of release? Not 100 million, not 900 million less. No, $1 billion less. Did you know that GTA 5's revenue, also for its first year, made less than Genshin Impact? So when I talk about Genshin Impact, I need you guys to be on the same wavelength here. This is not an indie company. I don't know why people keep acting like it's a mom and pop shop. Every company can start out that way, and I can respect the hustle and bustle of older games that they've made, but you need to take into consideration what happens when you become this massive. So now that you know a few of the factoids, let's get further into it. I believe that game developers and those working within a company should always be respected. They have lives, families, and also teams that they work on. Hire more people. That's a major issue that at the end of the day, when you're pumping out content, when you're putting things into development, when things are going through different teams, right? You need to have more hands, more cooks in the kitchen. You need to have more people. Like, this is such a weird scenario. People don't realize that money can equate more quality. Getting the same quality level for something that is making that much money out of the player base is disgusting. And I just don't understand why people don't realize that yet. And as I said before, I do love MiHoYo and I do love this game, but you can want better for yourself. And I'm not even saying overwork these devs, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, I'm saying hire more people, alleviate work, make sure that you have better delegated task teams. If you're pumping out a multi-billion-dollar game now, you need to treat it like a multi-billion-dollar game. You can't have characters being released like Yae Miko, whose kit doesn't even work properly. You can't have kits like Kujo-Sara's. Jin Yan's kit is broken still. And how long has that character been out for? You're not even fixing things that are already happening in your game. You're not doing hot patches for the game to fix these issues. You're waiting for full updates. You're having content droughts. You're having it so that Genshin is a side game. And that's the issue, is Genshin is a side game. yet they're making more money than AAA titles and every other game competing with it. Yet people still feel like, well, as a side game, it's doing great. I'm happy with the content level as a side game. That's a problem. And it's okay to want better and to want more out of a company. And at the same time, still respect the employees, because those employees work hard. This is a top grade executive decision where people who are making the money, people who are on the board, people who are in positions of power should be worried or concerned more about their player base than they are currently. Because right now it's a cash grab. It's milking us without improving, to the point where our last live stream for patch 2.5, what was the most exciting highlight from patch 2.5 besides us seeing Guy and Nico? The fact that they said that the next patch will have the chasm and Ayato. What? Why is that the most exciting thing happening? How come we're in the position where you know that patch 2.5 is gonna be bad? So out of panic, you're already talking about the next patch during this patch's live stream. That's not a roadmap thing. This is a strategy to make sure that when there is content drought, there's still something to talk about. Because they plan specifically for these content droughts. They understand how this game works. They understand what they're doing, and to pretend otherwise would be obscene. Then I had the comparisons of people being like, well, for Honkai Impact, the game didn't pick up until years later on when it came to events and other game modes. That's also a problem. What? Why? That is so insane to me. Where it's like, well, for their other game title that made literally billions of dollars less, they also treated it like garbage and then later on treated it better. So that's not a good reason. If anything, that just proves even more so that it took them years to care about their game the way that they should. And now it's at a spot where they definitely care about Honkai Impact super well. I love the way they have events. I love the effort they put in. I love everything about the game. I love the permanent game modes. But I'm telling you, people, is that they like, them taking years to get to that point is brutal. And then on a scale where this is making way more money than Honkai Impact, should also be pushing into this direction without having to take years to get there. And plot-wise, lore-wise, story-wise, I understand that takes time to develop. All I'm asking is for some more permanent game modes that you've already added in as events previously, but chose to take them out. Why? What is the decision making here? You already made the content, you already made the areas, you already made it so that these resources exist in the game, but you choose to not leave it in. So that's my rant. I got really heated. If you're still here and you want a little pick-me-up, let's talk about the happy comments and cool suggestions people made. I got a little bit angry. So we're gonna take it a little happier now. Here's my first cool comment. This one's talking about adding raids, like endless raids, into Genshin Impact. I think that'd be the coolest concept. Having like an endless like difficulty increase raid mode, like people getting cool like achievements and such for it. Like that would be a dope concept to add into the game. Another one that we have here is they have some good events that could be permanent content. Someone called Genshin a side chick game, and while I see that perspective, Genshin has too much potential to not be a main game. I was exploring and finally noticed a bulletin board and thought it would be great for other missions or interacting with characters. I agree. Hoyoverse can do more for this title. And damn, do I agree with that one. Like, because in reality, it shouldn't be a side chick game. And I play Genshin Impact every day, and I want to be able to stream it for more than 1 hour without running out of content. It'd be greatly appreciated. And honestly, whenever a new patch drops, I have the most fun in the world because I get to have a bunch of things to do. But what do you do when that's all over? And it sucks that we're in that situation. Another really good one is I feel like that one of the best events they had aside from the Golden Apple is the Labyrinth Warriors, the generated rogue dungeons. I completely agree. That was an incredible event, and having it as a permanent game mode like Abyss would be absolutely dope to have. You could have cool ass dungeon runs, and there's just so many things you could do with that. One of the biggest comments I had reoccurring in the comment section of the last video was Wind Trace. Bring Wind Trace to become a permanent game mode, and I agree. There's a lot of Genshin players who love the idea of just having fun with friends, and I think that also on top of that, it allows people just to unify more. Genshin's like multiplayer game modes are kind of lame. All you gotta do is do like what, domains together, or if you're not doing domains, you're taking resources from each other. Like, what are you doing? There needs to be other multiplayer content, and Windtrace is the most fun version of doing that to me. One of my favorite comments was somebody saying, just do Genshin Impact but with Elysian Realm. And for those of you guys who don't know what Elysian Realm is, Honkai Impact has a game mode called Elysian Realm. It's where you're able to pick doors and enter into new chambers and floors that take you higher and higher in difficulty. When it increases in difficulty, after you complete a challenge, you gain one of a random attribute for the door in particular that you picked. For example, if I walk through a door that buffs ultimates, at the end of completing that floor, I get to pick a random buff that buffs my ultimate. And in this case, my elemental burst. It is the coolest concept. It is so cool. And I would love to have that in Genshin Impact. How it works though is you play as one solo character the entire time too. So it's like, oh, could you imagine being able to have one solo character? Like you're a Jean main, or you're a Kaya main, or you're like me and you're a Xiao main, and you pummel your way through. But through your own gameplay, through your one token character. That'd be so dope to have. Then I had one person who just like really eloquently put a 10 numbered list. So I'm just gonna read off their number list right off rip. Number 1, they said raids. 2, survival multiplayer explorer dungeon. 3, abyss floor 13 to 15. 4, enemy domain maker. 5, draft pick abyss versus mode. Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah, like people do that in tournament already for Genshin, so that'd be cool to see. Where it's like you can't pick like certain 5 stars, or it's 4 stars only and stuff like that. 6 is Serenity Pot Windtrace. Would love to see that. 7 is Theater Mechanist Maker. 8 would be a Survival Boss Rush. 9 would be a 2-player style Spiral Abyss. That way you can have your friends actually join you on. And 10 would be Permanent Divine Ingenuity. And oh my god, like those game modes would be incredible. I understand the game would become much too large with all those permanent game modes. Like the game would be really, really heavy. But at least adding one of those in there would make such a significant difference. So I really love that comment because it's just like literally any one of these would help improve the game so, so much. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like we're all pretty unanimous on saying we need raids or we need Windtrace. Like that's like those are the 2 main points of contention that we have. Just add a permanent game mode. I'm not even saying like add more plot or more lore, things that involve having massive writing teams. I'm saying you already made these goddamn game modes. You already had them in there. Recycle your assets. Just use them again. It's not asking for much to ask for them to reuse what they've already done and keep it as a permanent game mode. And I think that people who try to just dispute that have rose-colored glasses on. And that's okay, right? But at the same time, you can still love something and be critical of it. That's all I gotta say. But you know what? Thanks for watching. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. And for those of you guys who might get a little angry at me near the end of this, you might want to write a little angry comment. Here's a little nose boop boop. Listen, I'm here to just be your dommy mommy. I'll put you back in place if I need to. Catch you in the next video. Bye!